Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch, and I have the major headlines. So the organized private sector are quite worried over the continued hike in inflation, and they're saying that they're stressing that it will further raise the cost of goods and products, raw materials, logistics, and machinery across the country. On Wednesday, the National Bureau of Statistics reported that Nigeria's inflation rate rose to 34.8% in the December 2024, reflecting a slight increase from the 34.60%. According to the latest Consumer Price Index report, the marginal rise of 0.20% was attributed to heightened demand for goods and services during the festive season. On a year-on-year basis, the December inflation rate marked a significant increase of 5.87 percentage points compared to the 28.92%. Point is that these inflation rates will definitely interpret to Nigerians as higher costs in food prices, and this is going to be quite the cause for concern for many citizens across the country.
Yeah, so I took the story of the 27-year-old. She's supposed to be Nigerian, but her name doesn't sound Nigerian. Patricia Masitela, who tragically lost her life after being mauled by a pack of starving dogs in Latina, Italy. She went on Monday to visit a male acquaintance at his abandoned villa in the Lazio region. This is according to the Mirror in the UK. They said she was not attacked by the dogs. Her screams, everyone could hear her screams. So it was the police that came to her rescue, and they shot 2 of the dogs. After they shot the dogs, the others dispersed. But she was critically, she was injured. She was lying in a pool of blood, deep wounds across her chest. And,
oh my Lord.
Yeah, very, very painful death. And
yeah, so
they tried, but she had lost too much blood. So, and she left a 5-year-old daughter.
Oh my Lord.
Can you imagine?
So I also have the story, retired generals talking about worrying over fresh terror attacks. So there's been fresh terror attacks in Northeast. We have 40 farmers. They said at least 40 farmers were reportedly killed in Jumba community in the Kukawa local government area of Borno State on Sunday by suspected Boko Haram members. Also on Tuesday, Boko Haram insurgents attacked the Shikarki community in Chibok local government area of Borno as well, burning a church and burning houses. And so speaking on this, one Brigadier General Bashir Adewimbi and another Brigadier General Momo talked about, Brigadier General Liu Momo talked about, what needed to be done. Retired Brigadier General, Bashir Adewimbi blamed our borders. Of course, he says it's porous. The influx of militants is evident. The government needs to tighten security around the border. He also called for what he says is a political solution. He said, as the military is bombarding them on the battlefield, we also need political solution to complement the efforts of the military. The military and the political class solution working simultaneously is the only way we can totally curb terrorism. Brigadier General Momo, on his own part, celebrated the peaceful Yuletide celebration. And if you're commending the peaceful Yuletide celebration, you'll be talking of the Northeast. Terrible things happen in the Southeast during this holiday where people were told by the IPOB not to have celebrations.
Yeah.
And if they attempted to have it, I know someone in my estate who was murdered. They were killed at their event. And so he's talking about how it was peaceful, commending them. And then he said that government must look at various levels of leadership and need to come out and lend more hands to the military.
Okay. Any other story in Sun? Punch? Let's move on to Daily Sun. Court grants First Bank's request to arrest, detain hydrocarbons crude oil cargo. Again, Bauchi governor hits Tinubu. Sanusi writes off Tinubu's men, says president lacks credible people. Yoruba Alliance declares war on bandits, rejects Sharia court in Yoruba land. Drama as senators bicker over defense of minister. APC-PDP trade wars over Edo Election Tribunal shooting. 14 dies, scores injured in Lagos, Niger, Kogi, and road crashes. Let me take the major headlines. So the former governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, categorically stated that he would not provide any form of assistance to President Bola Tinubu's administration. He spoke during the 21st anniversary of Ganifa annual lecture organized by the Nigerian Bar Association in Ikeja. The theme of the event was Bretton Woods and the African economies. Can Nigeria survive another structural adjustment program? So he was saying that I can give a few points. He understands what is going on with the economy. It's actually very predictable, but he also knows what they can do to resolve it, but he chooses not to because they have not acted as friends. He says, I can explain what we are going through and how most of it was totally predictable and avoidable, but I am not going to do that. I have chosen not to speak about the economy or reforms or to even explain anything to anybody to help this government. I don't want to help this government. They are my friends. If they don't behave like friends, I won't behave like a friend. So I watch them being stewed. Sanusi lambasted those who constitute Tinubu's government, asserting that they lack credibility and therefore cannot offer anything meaningful to the nation. He emphasized that the government would need to explain to Nigerians the rationale behind their various economic decisions. Okay?
And he also asked the lawyers to emulate the late Gani Fawumi. I read that story as well, and I wish it could have been a hot topic because I'm wondering, is it about your friends
or about
the
people,
the country?
Yeah, exactly. And you're holding an important office like that.
You know, sometimes we talk about ego. That's ego right there. But hey, you don't bruise people's egos. You just never know how it's going to take you. But that's a different conversation. But somebody I highly respect.
You know, he's a highly respected, revered leader.
Yeah.
Leader.
And an emir.
Now, if you can solve our problem, please solve it.
Solve it.
Forget about
His own
whether they
people
have
are
offended
going
you.
through it.
We
His
did not
family,
offend
one way
you,
or
it's
the other,
them.
are going through it. Exactly.
Any other story in the Daily Sun?
Okay, so I have the drama in the house here. So
Drama, you are always looking at for drama stories.
Auntie, read the bottom.
Senators speak over defense minister. What happened?
Exactly. So the defense of minister. So the minister for housing was before the Senate Committee on Housing yesterday, and to defend, of course, the budget.
I'm not even heard about this minister.
That is Ali. So he didn't even come again. So the minister, his name is was represented by the Minister for State, Mr. Yusuf Ata, at the defense of the ministry's budget yesterday in front of the Senate Committee on Housing and Urban Development at the National Assembly yesterday. And so he was talking about how all the outstandings. He said that they have many contractors that they are owing about 92 billion. They said that they have also recorded 6.2 billion internally generated revenue from that ministry. He said this is low because of the insecurity across the country, and he says that they have so many contractors that they are owing outstandings to. And Senator Ningi is on this committee now. Where drama broke with that.
Oh,
yeah,
you know
so
Senator Ningi?
Yes. You remember him now? So he was asked on the status of the Renewed Hope Housing Scheme and Cities Program and National Housing Program. He said they have a total of 7,522 housing units across the 35 states of the Federation. And Nadia Ningi broke say, I, Senator Abdul Ningi, am representing this Bauchi Central and the good people of Bauchi Central, and I have not seen or heard any building in my constituency that belongs to the Renewed Hope Housing Scheme. And you people have 7,000 plus of it. How come and everything. He then took it up. He said, these are very strange to us. I am from Bauchi State. I represent Bauchi State. I don't know where you are doing this project. I don't know how. Here I am and everything. So his other senators
Where you got the cement?
had
Where you get the cement and
shush him. The drama, his
Off your mic.
co-senators had to, exactly, was an off your mic situation, but you can get the song for the interesting part.
Okay. Any other story?
Where is Nima
Moving
there?
on to Vanguard, final paper for this morning. Ex-generals, commanders allege NGOs, others aiding terrorists. Really, NGOs, wow. Nigeria meets OPEC quota as output rises to 6.3%. That's over 1.5 million barrels per day. APC PDP trade blames over Edo Election Tribunal shooting. I won't advise federal government on economic hardships, says Emir Sanusi. Israel, Hamas reach Gaza ceasefire, hostage release deal. Let's see, Shetima, Akume, Akpabio, Abbas, others lay wreaths at the Armed Forces Day remembrance. Okay, which story are we taking?
Okay, so I have the story of the oil output. They said the Nigerian oil output increased year on year by 6.3% to 1,507 million barrels per day in December 2024, and it rose from 1,418 in 2023. Because of this increase, right now they said we are the highest crude oil producer in Africa, while Sudan comes last with 27,000 barrels per day. They said that the nation met OPEC quota of 1.5 million barrels per day. They said, meanwhile, the NUPRC has set a production target of at least 2.1 million barrels of oil per day by 2025. They said this increase is going to position Nigeria as a more competitive and sustainable player in the global oil and gas industry. This is good news.
Okay.
Can I take the wreath lane?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because everybody just go the lay wreath
Me,
yesterday.
I took the story, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
The wreath lead. No,
I
go
want
ahead.
to criticize.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, just take
I
the
had
story.
taken the story already.
Take the story. She wants to
Okay,
criticize
so
it.
everybody have gone. They account in the Vanguard, say all the states, even the opposition, the PDP,
They released their
Peter Obi,
doves.
have gone to release whether na chicken.
This
or
dove.
dove.
My
They
God.
released it. They also
It's very symbolic.
commended. It is. I'm not going to even joke with it. Being an ex-commando myself, I went to school in the military, so they commended all of them. They talk good talk. But we do this every year, and then the widows of the slain soldiers are still waiting. Can we have a comprehensive?
They said it now.
They said it, but there's another paper where the criticism is saying that widows are still waiting for the entitlement of their husbands. Somebody should not do that kind of sacrifice, and his children end up being called barrack picking.
It's not only that, Nima. The ex-soldiers, the former retired soldiers, they are there
Those
every
one,
day.
no.
They go and put a chair outside the Kenny so that they can give them their pension.
Oh, those ones are
Yeah, they're always asking for their pension.
They're always asking for their pension.
The Ministry of
So,
Finance.
I mean, do you know how much they would have spent in buying wreath last one in this country?
Even the birds
That
they
money,
release.
that just or even the birds that can't fly, those birds, when they release them, they won't fly.
Exactly.
Please,
Beyond the
divert
symbol,
money
beyond
into
the
giving these people their dues.
beyond the badges we wear, beyond the symbol of the release of the birds, beyond all of that, should be a proper provision for their family members.
Yeah.
There's a word they used to describe them, a very derogatory word. Nabara pikin, soldier pikin. You see them, their fathers and family members. Some of them don't even know how they didn't even see the bodies of their slain family members who paid the supreme sacrifice, and the child will now be condemned on the street to a derogatory status.
It's not
should do
fair.
I
better.
watched yesterday.
It's
They
not
interviewed
just
one
them.
lady. She was
The
really
police
crying.
too. The Navy, all the forces, all the armed forces.
The only position that
they
pays
they don't get their
is
pension. And when they
politician.
give them their pension, they give them one small amount that they become beggars after some years, couple of
It's really
years.
sad.
That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.